Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be answering one of the most asked questions on my channel. What is my career as a software engineer? It's a great question, one that I didn't know you cared. I'm curious actually, why do you care? Maybe you're wondering, who is this guy talking to me over the internet, making all these bold claims about software engineering? How does he get off telling me what I should and shouldn't do? Well, those are all very good questions, and I don't know if I'll answer them all in this video, but by the end of it, you'll absolutely get a better understanding of who I am and how I came to be who I am today. How I was such a young lad and I'm such a old man. It all starts way back. Is there like some effects that I can have? Those time machine effects? I don't think I know how to do that yet. But it all starts way back 10 years ago when I got my first job as a software engineer in 2010. It kind of depresses me a little bit thinking that I've been now in this industry for 10 years, but that's how it goes. My first job out of college I got in October of 2010 at a small startup in my home state of Connecticut in the United States. I'm born and raised in Connecticut. It's my hometown. So of course after college I was at home applying to as many jobs as I could get. I'm close to New York City, so I was applying to New York City jobs, but not having any experience on my resume made that impossible to find a job. So fortunately, some small little startup in Connecticut, a nearby town, took a chance on me and gave me a job. A company called dLife.com. It's an online website, an online magazine, and I was hired there as a web producer. That was my title back when I guess they used movie terms for web development, but that was me very much getting my feet wet in the industry and just understanding what it was to work at a 9-to-5 job. The whole code base was a Java backend, jQuery on the front end. Again, this was 2010. jQuery was the best thing you could do. So I learned a lot with jQuery, and I was not there that long. I was only there for 8 months because I was looking to move into the city where all of the New York City startups were. It's the honest truth. New York City is fancy, glitzy, glamorous. So I was applying to New York City jobs, and eventually I was able to find a new job in New York City. And I'll never forget when I actually had my phone screen on the phone for when I was still at dLife. The office was near the railroad station. So I would go outside to have a private phone call because that's what you do when you're looking for a new job. You try to find a private, safe space. And it was private outside, not exactly safe because every 10 minutes the train would go by. So I was on the phone with the recruiter talking to them, and I'd have to just pause the conversation every 10 minutes as the train went by, making the entire conversation completely, I had no idea what they were saying. But long story short, left dLife and I started a job at this company called GetGlue in the city. GetGlue, not around anymore, but it essentially is it was a social network for TV. So similar to Foursquare, if you're familiar with that, where you can check in that you're watching a TV show or a movie. A lot of fun. The cool thing about GetGlue was also when you checked in to movies and TV shows, you could win virtual stickers on the website. And if you got enough virtual stickers, they would actually send you real stickers. If you do a Google search, you'll just see these pages of real stickers that GetGlue was able to just send to all of its excited users. And GetGlue I was there for 2 years. So I was there from May 2011 to May 2013, and I grew a lot there. Like that was where I went from a junior engineer, in my opinion, to like a normal engineer to like, bordering on senior. Like I grew in those 2 years a lot. I made some really close friends that I'm still friends with now. Hello, if you're watching this video. Still keep in touch with them. They're awesome and they taught me so much. And then the technology that I used then was, when I first got there was jQuery, but the new really cool, exciting thing that we used at GetGlue was Backbone.js. And this was, I think, when Backbone was like version 0.5 or something. It was like real early days, but like MVC on the front end. It was just way, way cool and powerful. And along with Backbone, so what was cool about GetGlue is that I actually got to be part of a rewrite of the application, the website. And the things that we used was Backbone, but we also used CoffeeScript because classes, as you know them with ES5, ES2015, did not exist. It was just CoffeeScript that you could use. I don't know if you know CoffeeScript. It's a fun little Ruby-like JavaScript language, but it was awesome. So we had Backbone, CoffeeScript, and then we were building a cross-platform application there, which is a lot of fun. And we used PhoneGap, which I think is called Cordova now. And I learned a ton there. 2 years, learned so much. It was an amazing, awesome experience. Until I decided eventually to leave. 2 years, grew, and I got a new job at a company called Chartbeat.com. Still around, still a great company. And I was there for 2 years, what does it say here? 2 years, 11 months. So like just shy of 3 years at Chartbeat. And that Chartbeat was where I absolutely went from a normal engineer to a senior engineer. Like that was the job that really, both a combination of just time and experience and also just time and then the experiences that I got at Chartbeat let me kind of like level myself up from a normal engineer to a senior engineer. And Chartbeat was a whole lot of fun, so much fun. It was very typical a startup, like just, fast paced, trying to just try new ideas, really exciting. Also still have friends from there as well. Hello, if you're watching. One of the coolest things about joining Chartbeat was I was able to join a new team at Chartbeat and pretty much start a whole new platform from the ground up. And that was actually where I got first introduced to AngularJS back when it was version 1.1. I think it was actually when we first started to look at it. And we actually waited to start implementing it because we realized in reading the internet that AngularJS 1.2 was like the big deal, like where they fix all these big issues. And as soon as AngularJS 1.2 came out, we were just like full systems ahead and just building as fast as we could. And I just learned so much on how to architect AngularJS applications, but also thinking about how I could share code across multiple dashboards. A lot of growth there. Did that for 2 years, then I switched teams at Chartbeat, and I actually got to rebuild the iOS application from the ground up with React Native. Fun fact about me, my first true experience with React was with React Native, not with React. But that project at Chartbeat was a lot of fun. There's a blog post online somewhere. If I find it, I'll link it below, but about how it was myself, a designer, and a product manager, and just us three just hustled and just were scrappy and just built an entirely new Chartbeat iOS native experience with React Native in 8-9 months. It was so much fun. And towards the end of my career at Chartbeat, I realized that I'd kind of come into my own. I was a senior engineer. I had confidence, both warranted and maybe unwarranted, because it all is a little bit. And I realized that I wanted to start taking more ownership of the work that I was doing. I wanted to start leading a team. And that's when I decided to go to a different company, a company called TodayTix.com. Again, a lot of friends there. That's a common theme, is that, the friends you make along your career are those that kind of stay with you the longest, because you kind of forge tight bonds with them when you go through all these rapid development cycles. So a lot of fun there. So in May of 2016, I went to TodayTix.com, still around, and I got to be in my first management position, leading a development team. And I was hired in large part to help build out their website from the ground up. And that was actually the first time using React on the web, weirdly enough, in my day-to-day job, using it in my free time, but day-to-day using React there. And I was only at TodayTix for, what does it say, about 8 months. Turned out to not be the best fit for me there, but I wanted to stay to see the project through. So I didn't leave until we actually finished the website. If you go to TodayTix.com, it's still around. I'm still very proud of the architectural decisions that we made there. a full React application, both client-side and server-side rendering React, which was really fun to tackle that problem. And learned a lot of ways that I could best manage a team and lead a project, so learned a lot there. And then by the time I had reached the end of my tenure at TodayTix 2016, I started looking around for a new job. And that's when I made the move to MongoDB, where I still am today. What's interesting is that until I joined MongoDB, the biggest company that I worked for was, I think, Chartbeat, which at one point was up to around 50 or 60 people. So that was the biggest size company that I worked at before Mongo. So when I applied to Mongo and realized that at the time, this was 2016 when I was applying, they were around 700 people big. And my jaw was close to the floor because never in my wildest dreams had I ever imagined that I would join a company that large. Flash forward to today, 2020, Mongo's over 2,000 people now. So I try not to think about that too much because that's just overwhelming entirely. But the jump from startup to non-startup, I don't know what you call a Mongo-sized company nowadays, just a big tech company, was one that was curious. But it's also one that I did consciously as well because you learn different things in startups than you do at big companies. And I'd already been at 4 small startup-sized companies, learned a whole bunch, and realized that it was time for a change, and I had a whole different realm of learning to do. So I started at MongoDB in October 2016. I was there I joined as a senior UI engineer, helping to bring React to the code base and build things up there. And eventually I made the transition to being a lead engineer at MongoDB, which is the title they give for managers. I am, curiously enough, a manager pants nowadays. So for the past 3 years, I've been a lead engineer at MongoDB, working in the cloud services department of MongoDB, and growing a team from, I think, 3 or 4 people when we started up to like 7 where we are now. And fun little news for all of you out there, just this past month in August, I actually got promoted at MongoDB. I am now a director at MongoDB, which is lead to director. So I don't know what that means yet. That's the thing that I'm going to have to share with you in some years' time when I actually get some comprehension about what it means to be a director of engineering. So that's still to be decided, but my day-to-day responsibilities are still the same, to just make sure that my team is as successful and happy as possible. So that's been, and then come October, I guess in a month's time, I'll hit my 4-year anniversary at MongoDB, which is also just like, I'm gobsmacked that I've been there that long. It honestly feels like 2 years or less because it's been honestly a lot of fun. But that's my career so far. 5 jobs, dLife, GetGlue, Chartbeat, TodayTix, and then MongoDB. UI engineering all the way through. Now at Mongo, I'm doing full stack management, which is also a fun challenge and growth for myself. But hopefully that kind of paints some more color into who I am and how I've come to be this face that talks to you every week about technology. I'm curious what questions you may have about this so far. I'll happily maybe either respond in comments or maybe collect a bunch of questions and make a follow-up video for any questions that you may have. I really should do a video about just management, because that's the whole thing that I now have around almost 4 years worth of management experience. So I think there's definitely things that I could share about that. My manager brain clicks in sometimes and it's like, well, be safe with your advice in my own manager speak head. So I'll see what I can do in terms of like sharing my words. Yes, multiple words. I have multiple words of wisdom, not just one word of wisdom. If I had one word of wisdom, it would just be wisdom, because that's a word of wisdom. Man, that's a bad joke. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this and want to see more like it, hit the like button and also subscribe if you don't already. And I will see you again next week with another new video about something else. Until then, stay coding, stay happy. Take care. Bye.